Hi, I'm Tina Luong. My Vietnamese name is ooluongtea, and you're watching PDC. Do you remember the happiest day of your life? If not the happiest day, what about a time frame? I'll give you a moment to think about it. Our entire lives, we work and hustle through school, get a degree, get a job, buy a house, buy a car. But when I ask people what the happiest day of their life is, no one answers these milestones. All the answers I've collected for the happiest day of their life is usually when they travel or when they're with friends and family. For travel, it's usually at the peak of a hike or at the beach laying out, touching the water, sitting around a bonfire. When it came to friends and family as the answer, Christmas morning unwrapping presents or just hanging out with college buddies, getting a bit tipsy and having a blast. Those were the happiest moments of their life. Definitely all the answers were simpler times, something very simple. The second part of the question is, how long ago was that day? Most people answer years ago. When it comes to travel, most people don't travel that often. College days, easily a decade. So that's when I break the news to them. If you can't tell me the happiest day of your life was in the last 1 to 2 years, you're definitely not waking up in the pursuit of happiness. You're not working and striving, working all these hours at work and earning all this money towards the happiest day of your life. You're working towards buying a house, buying a car, but does that truly make you happy? Let me be clear that I'm not dismissing the importance of education and employment. I encourage you to persist in pursuing the American dream. However, I strongly urge you to be mindful and ensure that your efforts are bringing you closer to the next happiest day of your life. You might be earning just enough to provide for your family, making it seem like reaching that joyful day is impossible. Yet it's crucial to remember that the most joyous moments in life often arise from simpler things. Did you know that over 60% of the world is living paycheck to paycheck? That is because society leads us to believe that certain material possessions are essential for happiness. While you dedicate time and effort to your job, take a moment to reassess. Consider redirecting some of that financial energy towards creating memories and experiences with your loved ones. Though it may sound cliche, there's truth in prioritizing spending on experiences over material possessions. These moments often bring deeper and long-lasting happiness over material things. Follow my life as I try every single hobby, travel all over the world. I tried to become a professional poker player, rode motorcycles. My name is Tina Luong, and I'm on the quest for the next happiest day of my life. Okay, that's it. All right, that's my intro. So I was invited to be a bridesmaid in a wedding in Thailand. So that gave me the opportunity to just travel all over Asia and explore. I would say I'm a very well-traveled person, different countries multiple times, but Vietnam was always a no-go for me. And that's because I was really scared. I'm scared of my rusty Vietnamese.
Cái này ăn with it, right? You eat with it?
Pancake.
Okay.
I grew up in a predominantly Caucasian neighborhood. My family's a little more Americanized than most Vietnamese families. I also moved out really early when I was 18, and I never got to practice my Vietnamese, and so I'm no longer fluent.
Đây, xếp hàng. Đây có chiên hành.
You're so wrong. It's all wrong.
My parents fled here to the States immediately after the Vietnam War, finding themselves in a refugee camp here in Southern California. That's where their paths crossed, leading to their love story. They were each adopted separately, my father being adopted first by a Caucasian family, while my mother was adopted later by a Vietnamese woman married to a Caucasian man. It continues to amaze me today the empathetic souls of these families, willing to adopt an adult immigrant and offer them a new beginning in life. My parents exchanged letters for months until the day my dad earned his driver's license. When that day came, he picked her up and off they went to tie the knot. They made history by becoming the first Vietnamese couple to marry at their church, a pivotal moment that sparked the formation of the entire Vietnamese community. This initiative brought together Vietnamese people all around the area together, creating a vibrant Vietnamese church community in our little town. My father was the first to journey to the States alone. He worked very hard and saved up his money to sponsor the immigration of all 6 of his siblings and my mom's side, going as far as adopting her nephew and raised him all the way through college. My dad successfully reunited both families here in the States. When I see my aunts and uncles, they speak to me primarily in Vietnamese. I can understand it, but I can't speak back to them, and it's very embarrassing. I feel shameful. When I go to nail salons and they see my last name on the credit card when I'm paying and they ask me if I'm Vietnamese and I say yes and I can't speak back, it feels shameful, and I didn't want to feel that going to Vietnam, and so I've always avoided going to Vietnam. Despite growing up in a predominantly Caucasian town, my parents enrolled me in a Vietnamese language school and the youth group at our church. I was deeply immersed in dance and cheer in elementary all the way up to high school. At the request of my parents, I took on the task of choreographing traditional Vietnamese dance for the church. I incorporated modern dance and cheer techniques with traditional Vietnamese music. This unique fusion was one of its kind during that time, gaining international recognition. My choreography was being replicated all over the world in Germany and Australia by Vietnamese groups from various temples, churches, and college clubs. My group was performing all over numerous festivals, events, even competing in competitions, always bringing home a trophy. I did this for over a decade. However, as life progressed, my time became consumed with school and work, leading me to retire from the world of dance and choreography. But that part of my life remains a significant connection to my cultural roots. While I can read and write and thoroughly enjoy singing and dancing to Vietnamese music, there's an interesting twist. I have no comprehension of the lyrics. It's best described like how many people can read Spanish but not understand the meaning. When we decided to look at flight options to Phuket, the best way to get there was a layover in Vietnam. I was freaking out, but luckily my boyfriend was coming with me and he reassured me that everything is gonna be okay, we were gonna go explore together, and it's time to face my insecurities and just go. So I mustered the courage and booked it, and we went. In our 15-day trip in Asia, we visited 4 countries, and out of the 4 countries, Vietnam ended up being my favorite. Sit tight, because more PDC content is coming right after this break. So Da Nang is kind of like in the middle of Vietnam, and pretty much the reason why I chose Da Nang was because I really wanted to see the Golden Bridge. Walking on the bridge, being held by these big cement hands, I've never seen that anywhere else. So in Vietnam, taxis are super cheap. You can definitely take a taxi everywhere, but we wanted more freedom, and my boyfriend is very comfortable riding a motorbike. They don't check driver license, nothing. They literally give it to you and they charge you super cheap. In Vietnam, it's pretty scary. There's no signaling, there's no stop signs, you just go. I sent a video to my mom thinking she'd think it's so cool. She actually was very mad at me. She said it's very dangerous, and I admit, if you look at all the videos on the internet of Saigon, it looks crazy, but in Da Nang it's actually less crowded, so it wasn't that bad. Don't recommend anybody just going on it. If you have no experience on a moped or motorcycle or anything, I wouldn't recommend it. We're definitely going a lot slower. We're getting passed up. We're definitely getting passed up by a lot of people. We go way slower and we're just safe. We go on the right lane, the slow lane. We go on the right side and take our time to get to places. But it was the greatest time of my life, holding on to my boyfriend and just going around town at night. My boyfriend and I are on the same level when it comes to accommodation. We actually love to just stay at really cheap motels and hostels that are super cheap because we're the type of people where we leave our hotel at 6 a.m. and we don't come back till midnight. There's no coming back to shower before dinner. We literally only sleep in the accommodation. So for us, we're not the best people to ask for accommodation recommendations, but in Vietnam, when we looked up motels and hostels, they were the same price as 4 to 5 star hotels. So we decided to splurge, and splurging was $35 a night. Beautiful golden hotel looking over the water with a beautiful rooftop infinity pool. And it was only $35 a night. Now, it was $35 a night on Airbnb. So it's one of those hotels where like someone can own the apartment or the room and then rent it out on Airbnb, but you can also book directly through the hotel. If you book directly through the hotel, it still was only $60. They greeted us, the bellboy came and got our stuff, walked us to the front desk. The moment they found out we were Airbnb-ing a room, they just threw us away. They just like disregarded us. They're like, sorry, you gotta go wait in the lobby for someone to come get you. So we definitely lost the hotel amenities part of that. So when we got to our room as well, I admit, things were a little bit more broken. Soap dish holder was like falling apart. Floors weren't the cleanest. If you're a germaphobe type of person, definitely an extra $25 booked directly to the hotel. You'll get your room turned over every day. You'll get the special hotel amenities. So Vietnam ended up being one of the top places to travel for me was because accommodations were so cheap. Usually my boyfriend and I would pay $50 to $60 a night for a motel somewhere else. But to have a 4 to 5 star hotel for the same price, Vietnam wins. Don't go anywhere, more PDC content is coming up shortly. One of my favorite things I did in Vietnam was obviously the food. We only eat local food and street food. So we get on the motorbike and we just drove until we found little stalls. We found a pho spot. There was like locals sitting on these mini chairs. If there's locals there, it must be good. Got a bowl of pho and it definitely was way different than back at home. The noodles were fat noodles. The meat was a mixture. There was wontons in my pho. And the broth was actually lighter in flavor. Here in the States, we add a lot more salt and MSG, so it tastes a little bit better. But in Vietnam, lighter, healthier. If you're someone that wants to eat something and appreciate the clear and the pure broth, it was delicious in that way, but it definitely tasted different. Our recommendation for eating street food is to never eat anything that's been laid out. At the night market, you'll see a lot of food being laid out, but you want to pick a stall where they're still freshly cooking food. If you want to eat anything, you ask them, can you make that fresh? Go to a stall that doesn't make it till you order it. Do not eat unwashed vegetables. Most stalls they don't wash their vegetables. So you have to be careful with that. All the food that David and I ate were really hot soup, fried food, and barely any vegetables. Water-wise, definitely bring your own water. We made sure to pick food that hasn't been laid out. Okay. This looks like nem. This is nem, this is pork. I'm gonna eat it myself. Lemongrass? Oh my god. It's so good. Wait, is this food or is this nothing?
No, nothing. Oh, rice paper?
I think this is rice paper. Excuse me? Cái này ăn with it, right? You eat with it?
pancake.
Okay, thank you. I thought these were napkins, but they're rice paper. We thought these were napkins. Got lettuce here, a little bit of veggies, and this is bun sale. Yeah. I could live here.
Wow.
I'm 100% could live here.
I made sure to pick things that I just pretty much can't do anywhere else, only there. Releasing the floating lanterns on the river was very important to me to do in Vietnam because I felt like that was the only place I've seen that. The best time to go Vietnam is actually December, winter. It is a peak season, so it is the most expensive. I wore a tank top and shorts, riding on a motorbike, all this wind coming at me, and it was still hot. And that's actually the coolest you'll ever feel in Vietnam. Everyone talks about Vietnam being very humid, very hot. For the 2 days I was in Vietnam, it was like a hot, nice summer night, and it was great. No humidity at all. So December is the best time to go. In the 15-day trip that my boyfriend and I went on, we actually went to Japan and Vietnam and Thailand and Singapore. In December, Japan is freezing. In Vietnam, it's hot. So we did have to pack for winter and summer. We have a rule that we're only allowed to pack a carry-on anytime we go anywhere. We don't do check-ins at all. So we had to be very strategic on packing. For Vietnam, definitely all you need is a windbreaker just to maybe when you're on your motorbike and the wind is going at you, but it's so hot in Vietnam that you don't need to worry about packing big sweaters or pants, and you can pack very light actually. My boyfriend and I are different. Definitely are the type of people that wants to make the most of our day. Very high energy people. When I travel with my family, it's different. I definitely plan rest time, dinner time, shower time. But if it's just my boyfriend and I, we just go for it. time I travel, I'm that type A girl. Got the Excel file, got the timestamps, got, you know, where we're gonna be, what we're gonna do every day. But when I traveled to Vietnam the first day, I had zero plans. I just wanted to arrive there safely, get to my hotel, and sleep in and do my itinerary the next day. But that night, we were able to get a motorbike immediately, and that was one of the best days of my life. We took the motorbike and we went out and we saw things we wouldn't have seen if we had an itinerary. My advice, have your itinerary, but definitely leave a day or two of just exploring. Go out there, walk around, and then when you walk or you drive, you see locals around. If you see locals anywhere, go there. Get in line, whatever it is, go there. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Vietnam. Stay tuned for the next one, which is actually gonna be covering Japan. If you enjoyed watching me today, follow me on my Instagram at ooluongtea for more. I'm a slob kebab. I don't look like this. My boyfriend would be so shocked to see me look like this. In like, it's been weeks since I... Today I look like this. Today I look like this. Today I look like a lady. I finally look like a lady. I look like...